Brock Vandagriff is one of the most talented quarterbacks in college football right now. He is a former 5-star recruit who chose to play for his home state Georgia Bulldogs over Oklahoma, Auburn, and more. Although he was a part of the 2021 and 2022 national championship winning teams, he failed to see much playing time sitting behind Stetson Bennett. Vandagriff may finally get his opportunity to shine this season, but will need to beat out fellow quarterbacks Carson Beck and Gunnar Stockton to win the starting quarterback job. Will he be able to do so, or will he be looking for a new home later this spring or next season? In this video, we will take a closer look at his journey, his skills, and his future at Georgia. Stay tuned to find out why Brock Vandagriff is a star in the making. Brock Vandagriff grew up in Bogart, Georgia, a town that is about 20 minutes away from Athens depending on traffic. Although Vandagriff grew up so close to Georgia, he actually did not grow up a Bulldogs fan. His family actually had season tickets to Auburn until he was 10. His father Greg grew up in Knoxville, Tennessee, and his mother is originally from Alabama. Greg told The Athletic, "We're like spies living in a different land in Athens." So how did Brock end up so close to Georgia? Well, Brock's dad Greg is a high school football coach, and his coaching career brought him to the Peach State. Greg was the head coach at Kell High School in Marietta, and then the Woodward Academy in Atlanta before taking the job at Prince Avenue Christian School. Brock started playing football in elementary school, participating in flag football. Greg thought his son would play on the defensive side of the ball due to Greg being a defensive-minded coach. Let's just say his son struggled playing defense. He would catch up to the guys with the ball, but struggled to take their flags off, and it didn't go so well. What Brock could do was throw the ball. Brock told The Athletic, "I was always wanting to throw it. I didn't care as much about the cool catches on the sideline. I was always wanting to throw it before they hit the sideline or throw the over-the-shoulder catches. A lot of times when a child shows a lot of potential at quarterback, parents will overdo it at an early age." Greg tried not to fall into this trap and avoided the middle school quarterback camp circuit. Greg said he did not want to develop dad vision, which he described as a delusional and unrealistic expectation for his son. Greg had experience with college recruitment due to coaching Elijah Holyfield and 8 other Division I players in the past. In 8th grade, Brock's family started to realize he was developing into a special player, so Greg sent out film to a few schools. It was not a "offer my middle schooler" type of film sharing. It was more of, "I don't know how Brock will develop, but you may want to put this kid on your radar." Vandagriff attended Prince Avenue Christian School where he played for his father. Along with football, Brock also played basketball and ran track. During his freshman year, Brock completed 14 of his 25 passes for 267 yards and 2 touchdowns, while also having 130 rushing yards and 3 more touchdowns on the ground. During his sophomore year, Vandagriff threw for 3,190 yards, 28 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, while also rushing for 1,001 yards and 23 more touchdowns on the ground. In 2019, he threw for 2,471 yards, 31 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, completing 71.6% of his passes. He also added 262 yards and 6 touchdowns on the ground. Vandagriff played through a broken ankle in a game during his junior year, but only played in 8 games for the whole season. During the 2020 season, Vandagriff put his team on his back, throwing for 4,162 yards, 46 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, completing nearly 71% of his passes. He also rushed for 503 yards and 17 touchdowns. Prince Avenue finished the season 13-1, winning the Georgia A Private State Championship. During the state title game, Vandagriff threw for 274 yards and 2 scores, while also rushing for more than 80 yards and another touchdown on the ground. The insane thing about Vandagriff's senior season is the fact that he played with an injured PCL that he suffered in the 4th week of the season. The kid is tough as nails. Vandagriff was named the National High School Quarterback of the Year from the National Quarterback Club. Brock also competed in the Elite 11 finals and was named to the All-American Bowl. According to 24/7 Sports Composite, Brock Vandagriff was a 5-star recruit who was the 2nd best dual-threat quarterback, 2nd best player in Georgia, and 16th best player in his class. According to Gabe Brooks of 24/7 Sports, Vandagriff's pro comparison was Jarrett Stidham, and he was projected to be a future 2nd-round pick in the NFL draft. He received over 20 different Division I offers from the likes of Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, and Oklahoma. His first Division I offer came from Miami. The Vandagriffs had gone to church with Mark Richt when he was the head coach at Georgia, so there was a family connection. Then interest from schools started growing gradually, and the family focused on Oklahoma, Florida, and Georgia. Originally, Georgia was only on the list due to its proximity to home. Oklahoma and Florida were on the list due to how Brock would fit into their offensive schemes due to his ability. Oklahoma was the early frontrunner due to Lincoln Riley's success at developing quarterbacks, turning both Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray into Heisman-winning and #1 overall picks. and Vandagriff's skill set fit the offense almost perfectly. Greg Vandagriff spoke on the situation saying it was the right football decision, and the decision was based on football, not based on logistics, what's best for everybody else. It was based off of what is best for football and his career. If he wants to go to the NFL, this is the spot. It seemed like Brock was going to be a Sooner until a holiday dinner in 2019. One of his relatives made a comment about how far Oklahoma was from home. Brock admitted that he had given that idea some thought, surprising his parents who didn't realize their son was having second thoughts. Greg tried to be hands-off during his son's recruitment, letting Brock set up his own interviews, what schools they were going to visit, and what camps they were going to attend. A few days after Christmas, Brock realized that he didn't want to go to Oklahoma and wanted to be closer to home. He spoke to Georgia head coach Kirby Smart and then offensive coordinator James Coley, but he didn't decommit from Oklahoma right away. The Georgia coaching staff was excited to recruit Vandagriff, especially since Georgia's offense was struggling at the time. Brock still thought Oklahoma was the best fit for him football-wise, but spoke on the situation saying, "Me and my dad were talking, my priorities have kind of switched. I wanted to be close to my family, and I feel like wherever I go, I'm going to be able to thrive. If you're good enough to go to the NFL, they're going to find you." Then Jeff Monken was hired to be offensive coordinator for Georgia. 3 days after Vandagriff committed to Georgia, Monken told Brock, "What you need to understand is we're going to run what fits our players. If it's pass run 50-50, then we're going to do that. If it's pass first, if it's run first. I do believe we're going to open up the passing game more, but to be successful in the SEC, you will have to run the ball. We're not going to get away from that." Brock compares the way he plays the game to former LSU quarterback Joe Burrow, saying, "I'd say my label would be a 1A guy, a pro-style guy that can extend the play if need be, and get out of the pocket if that's what happens. But the main thing I'm doing is if the timing is right and no pressure, bang, the ball is out. Stuff like that. If the play breaks down, the pocket breaks down, get out and try to make something happen." Brock Vandagriff enrolled early at Georgia and quickly began to impress the coaching staff. Kirby Smart told Rivals.com's podcast, "He loves the weight room. He loves to compete and lift weights and compete. It's hard for me to put a tag on a guy like that because he's a little bit different than the other guys. He looked to be as good as advertised early on, according to Dog Nation. During Georgia's spring game, he completed 6 of his 9 passes for 47 yards as a freshman. During his freshman year, he also only attempted 1 pass, which is an incompletion, but still impressed the coaching staff throughout the season." Kirby Smart told Sports Illustrated a few years back, "I've seen Brock a lot up close. He's been on the scout team, playing quarterback. You know, he simulates a lot of these guys that we've had. Really athletic, makes throws on the run, very accurate, competitive, you know. He likes going against that defense each day. He doesn't always have the best protection, but we're not hitting him either, so he's done a really good job." Around the same time during that time period, leading up to the college football semifinal game, Todd Monken told the press, "We believe Brock Vandagriff is going to be a good player. Brock Vandagriff is a talented player." On the Junkyard Dogcast, Rusty Mansell said, "Since about Florida, I continue to hear that Brock Vandagriff is really taking the steps forward. He's been the best arm in the room. The ball comes out of Brock Vandagriff's hand different than anyone else in that room. JT Daniels, none of them have the arm that Vandagriff has. You have to be able to process, accuracy, all those things. That has taken a little bit of time with him. He's a big kid. When they see him, they do not realize how big he is. This kid is 6'3" legit. He's a dual threat guy, can run. He had a really good bowl practice and is starting to take those steps forward. As you look towards the spring, we will see if he carries it over. Since Florida, Brock Vandagriff has stepped up and the game has started to slow down. Physically, no one looks like him or has the arm he's got. You want to see him put it together." So far throughout his Georgia career, Brock has played sparingly and has not really gotten much playing time except in garbage time during blowouts. Brock Vandagriff's expectations for 2023 are likely to depend on how he performs in the spring practice and fall camp, where he will compete with Carson Beck and Gunnar Stockton for the starting quarterback job at Georgia. Vandagriff has the most raw talent and potential out of the 3 candidates, but he also has the least experience in game action. He may have to prove himself as a passer and leader to win over the coaches and his teammates. Some analysts have speculated that Vandagriff could transfer to another school, such as Auburn, if he loses the battle to Beck or Stockton. However, Vandagriff has expressed his faith and trust in God's plan for him, regardless of where he ends up. He may also decide to stay at Georgia and wait for the opportunity, as injuries or poor performance could open the door for him at any time. Vandagriff's expectations for 2023 are high, but also uncertain. He has a talent and potential to be a star quarterback for Georgia, but he also faces stiff competition and pressure. He will have to control what he can and show his best in every practice and game. If he does that, he may have a chance to lead the Bulldogs to another national championship. So far, Beck and Vandagriff have taken most of the first team reps, while Stockton has taken more of the second and third team reps, which gives the edge to the first two for the starting spot over the young sophomore in Stockton. Beck has the most experience in the offense, while Vandagriff may be the most talented out of the group. It will be interesting to watch the battle throughout the spring and into the fall. What do you think? Who do you think wins the Georgia quarterback battle? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos right here. Don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe for more college football content. Thank you so much for watching. I could not be more thankful for y'all. You guys make this all possible for me, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.